If your hands and feet feel like they are being repeatedly stabbed with 1,000 microscopic burning needles, I need you to stop whatever you are doing right now and listen to me. If you are walking around your house and it constantly feels like you are wearing a pair of thick, heavy winter socks, even when your bare feet are touching the floor, do not scroll past this video. You are not just getting older, your mind is not playing tricks on you, and what you are experiencing is absolutely not something you just have to accept and learn to live with. What you are feeling in your extremities right this second, that agonizing tingling, that sudden, shocking numbness, that bizarre sensation of cold or heat that doesn't actually exist, is a blaring, flashing, biological alarm system. It is a desperate distress signal coming directly from your nervous system. And here is the harsh, terrifying reality that genuinely keeps me up at night and the exact reason I am speaking to you today. If you ignore that static in your hands and feet, if you just brush it off as another ache and pain of getting older, you are not just signing up for a life of daily exhausting discomfort. You are actively walking toward a cliff where you lose your independence entirely, because when those nerves finally stop sending those burning distress signals and just go completely quiet, that is when the real, irreversible danger begins. That is when you can no longer feel the brake pedal in your car, forcing you to hand over your keys. That is when you stand up from your living room chair, your brain miscalculates where the floor is because the signal is dead, and you suffer a devastating, life-altering fall that puts you in a nursing facility. But I want you to take a deep breath right now, because catching this today means you can actually fight back. Your body is a miraculous machine, but it can only repair that physical damage if you give it the exact biological building blocks it is begging for. I am Dr. Michael Kent, and I am going to tell you the truth that the institutional medical system simply does not have the time to explain to you. Your nerves are actively starving. The protective coating around them is physically breaking down. The exact nutrient your nervous system is starving for, the specific compound heavily researched to help rebuild that damaged nerve insulation, is a highly specialized fat-soluble form of vitamin B1 called Benfotiamine. I want you to lock that name into your memory right now, Benfotiamine, but I must give you a massive urgent medical warning. Do not turn this video off, drive to the pharmacy, buy a bottle of Benfotiamine, and take it the way you take a normal daily vitamin. If you do that, you are going to waste your money, and your feet are going to keep burning. Taking the wrong form of this vitamin, taking it without the specific dietary fats your body requires to absorb it, or mixing it with the wrong, toxic type of vitamin B6 will completely shut down the healing process. Your nerves will continue to die. You must stay with me as I walk you through exactly what is causing this damage and the strict, non-negotiable daily routine you must follow tomorrow morning. Before we go any further, treat the comment section below exactly like your new patient intake form. Tell me your age, your exact nerve symptoms, and list every daily medication you take. I read these. Seeing your prescriptions tells me exactly what is starving your nerves right now, and reading what others are going through will finally prove to you that you are not going crazy. Now, I want to step away from the medical textbooks for a moment, and I want to talk about your actual daily life. I want you to ask yourself if you are living through these quiet, humiliating struggles that you might not even be telling your spouse or your children about. Think about your routine when you wake up in the morning. Do you simply hop out of bed like you used to 10 years ago, or do you swing your legs over the side of the mattress, plant your feet on the floor, and hesitate? Do you have to look down at your feet, gripping the edge of the mattress, doing a mental calculation to make sure your feet are actually flat against the floor before you dare to put your full weight on them? Do you feel unsteady, like you are walking on a boat, or like your brain isn't quite sure where your feet are landing? Think about getting ready in your bathroom. When you go to turn on the sink, do you have trouble determining if the water is hot or cold? Does a perfectly warm stream of water suddenly feel like boiling acid or freezing ice against your skin? That is not clumsiness. That is your sensory hardware actively malfunctioning. Think about getting dressed. Are the small buttons on your shirt becoming an impossible, frustrating chore? Do you find yourself dropping your car keys or your coffee mug, and it confuses you because your hands look perfectly fine and you know you aren't weak? You are dropping things because the biological signal from your brain to your fingers is broken. You literally cannot feel the exact amount of mechanical pressure you are applying to the cup. Or maybe your days are manageable, but the nights are pure torture. You lie down in bed, you are utterly exhausted, but the moment you pull the bed sheets over your legs, your feet start vibrating. They burn. They itch deep inside the muscle where you can't scratch them. The simple weight of a cotton blanket feels like coarse sandpaper against your toes, and no matter how you shift or toss or turn, you cannot find comfort. You lie awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering how much longer you can live like this. If you are nodding your head to any of this, if you are recognizing your own life in my words, your nerves are sending you a final, urgent distress signal. You have probably tried to get help for this. You probably made an appointment, waited weeks to get in, and sat on a cold exam table. You desperately described the burning, the numbness, and the terrifying fear of falling. And what did the doctor do? They probably looked at a computer screen instead of looking you in the eye. They sighed, they patronized you, and they told you that this is simply what happens when you get older. They told you it is just normal aging. Then they wrote you a prescription for a heavy, nerve-numbing medication, a pill that doesn't actually fix the damaged nerve, but merely chemically disconnects your brain so you don't feel the pain. A pill that makes you feel dizzy, confused, and like a complete zombie all day long. And then they sent you home and told you to just be careful on the stairs. I am here to tell you that this is completely unacceptable. You are not going crazy. The pain is not in your head, and this is absolutely not normal aging. What you are describing to me perfectly matches the clinical signs of a severe induced mechanical failure of your nervous system. You are being dismissed by an institutional medical system that does not have the time to fix the root cause of your suffering. Let me explain exactly what is breaking down inside your body right this second, because once you see the mechanical blueprint of this damage, the solution will make perfect sense, and you will understand exactly why your current routine is failing you. I want you to visualize the physical structure of your own home for a moment. Think about the electrical wiring hidden behind your walls. From the main breaker box in your garage or basement, long electrical cords run through the framework of your house to every single light switch and outlet. If you were to cut one of those cords open, you would see a copper wire in the center, which actually carries the live electricity, and a thick, heavy plastic insulation wrapped entirely around it. That plastic insulation has one job: to make sure the electrical current travels smoothly from the breaker box to the lamp without leaking out, sparking, or burning your house down. Your central nervous system is built on this exact same blueprint. There is absolutely no difference in the mechanics. Your brain and your spinal cord are the main breaker box. From there, millions of microscopic, highly sensitive biological wires run all the way down your legs to the tips of your toes and all the way down your arms to the pads of your fingers. In your body, the copper wire is the nerve fiber itself, and the thick plastic insulation wrapped around it is a biological coating called the myelin sheath. When you were 30 years old, that myelin sheath was thick, robust, and completely intact. The electrical signals from your brain zipped down to your feet in a fraction of a millisecond. If you stepped on a sharp pebble in the grass, your brain registered the danger instantly, and you shifted your weight before you even had time to blink. Your balance was flawless because the electrical connection was flawless. But right now, inside your hands and your feet, that protective biological insulation is physically eroding. It is wearing thin. It is fraying, just like a cheap charging cable for a mobile phone. I want you to think about what happens when the rubber insulation wears off a live electrical wire in your house. It short circuits. The electricity leaks out into the surrounding area. It sparks. That biological sparking is not a metaphor. It is the exact literal cause of the agonizing burning pain you are feeling in your feet at 2 in the morning. That sparking is the random, unexplainable tingling. It is the pins and needles. Your nerve signals are leaking out into the surrounding tissue because the insulation is gone, and your brain is receiving a constant, chaotic panic signal from a live, exposed wire. And what happens if you ignore an exposed wire for too long? Eventually, the wire snaps. The connection is severed. The power goes out. That is the numbness. That is the terrifying dead silence you feel when you press your foot against the floor and you feel absolutely nothing. Your brain is desperately screaming at your foot to move, to balance, to feel the ground, and your foot is responding with total darkness because the wire has broken. When people finally understand this mechanical reality, the next logical question is always the same. I hear it in my clinic every single day. Patients look at me with absolute frustration and say, "Dr. Kent, I eat a good diet. I buy vegetables, I eat lean meats, I even take a multivitamin every morning. Why is my nerve insulation breaking down?" This brings us to the most infuriating hidden truth in modern medicine. This is the exact trap that your standard 15-minute medical appointment simply does not have the time to uncover. Rebuilding, maintaining, and repairing that protective myelin sheath requires a massive amount of one very specific, non-negotiable raw material. It requires vitamin B1, otherwise known as thiamine. Vitamin B1 is the concrete that builds the foundation of your nervous system. Without it, your body physically cannot repair the frayed wires. It does not matter how much sleep you get, how much water you drink, or how many expensive pain-blocking pills you swallow. Without B1, the biological repair crew is permanently on strike. So, if you are eating healthy foods that contain vitamin B1, why are your nerves starving to death? Because swallowing food is only step 1. Absorbing it is step 2. And right now, you have two massive invisible roadblocks actively blocking that nutrient from reaching your feet. The first roadblock is your own aging digestive system. This is simply the reality of our biology as we cross into our 60s and 70s. The chemical environment inside your stomach changes dramatically. Your natural production of stomach acid begins to rapidly decline. You need strong, highly acidic, robust gastric juice to break apart the complex matrix of the food you eat and extract the vitamins hidden inside. When you were younger, your digestion was a furnace. You could eat a bowl of fortified cereal or a plate of lean pork, and your body would extract almost all of the B1 out of it. But today, with weaker stomach acid, you can eat that exact same healthy meal, and your body might only be able to extract 10 or 15% of the nutrient. You are doing the exact right behavior. You are chewing the food, you are swallowing the fuel, but your internal extraction machinery is failing. The vital B1 is just passing straight through your digestive tract and ending up in the toilet. You are pouring gas into the tank, but there is a massive leak in the line. But if the stomach acid issue wasn't enough, we have to talk about the second roadblock. This is the heavy hitter. This is the silent thief, and it is sitting right on your bathroom counter. It is your daily medication routine. If you are taking certain, very common, widely prescribed medications, you are actively flushing vitamin B1 out of your body every single day. I want you to think about your morning routine. You wake up, you pour a cup of coffee, and you do exactly what your doctor told you to do to be a good, compliant patient. You take your blood pressure medication. For millions of you, that is a diuretic, commonly known as a water pill. The entire medical purpose of that pill is to force your kidneys to excrete excess fluid and sodium through your urine, which brings the pressure in your blood vessels down. But here is the catastrophic, devastating side effect that nobody warned you about when they handed you that prescription. Vitamin B1 is a water-soluble vitamin. It lives and travels in the fluids of your blood. So every single time that water pill forces your kidneys to open the floodgates and flush out the fluid, it is taking your vital, nerve-protecting vitamin B1 right down the drain with it. I need you to let the weight of that reality sink in for a moment. Every single morning when you swallow that pill to protect your heart, you are actively initiating a chemical reaction that is starving your nerves to death by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Now look at me. Do not misunderstand what I am saying here. I am not telling you to flush your blood pressure medication down the toilet today. Do not stop taking the prescription pills that are keeping your heart pumping. What I am demanding is that you actively replace the exact nerve-saving nutrients those medications are violently washing away. The exact same thing is happening if you are taking metformin to manage your blood sugar. It actively alters the microbiome in your gut, severely impairing the absorption of B vitamins. Even the over-the-counter antacids you might chew after a heavy meal are actively neutralizing whatever little stomach acid you have left, completely shutting down the nutrient extraction process. This is the ultimate betrayal. The medical system is giving you pills to keep you alive, but those exact pills are causing the agonizing side effects that are destroying your quality of life. When you complain about the pain those pills created, they just give you another pill to numb your brain. Human nature dictates exactly what happens next. You realize you need vitamin B1. You refuse to give up. You drive to the local pharmacy. You walk down the vitamin aisle. You buy a bottle of B1. You take it every day. And a month later, your feet are still burning. You feel cheated. You feel hope slipping away. But I am telling you right now, the reason that pharmacy vitamin failed you is not because your body is broken beyond repair. It is because you were likely using the wrong tool for the job. When people reach this point of complete frustration, when they realize that the medical system has abandoned them to their prescriptions, they almost always try to take matters into their own hands. You probably drove to your local pharmacy, stood in front of that massive, confusing wall of vitamins, and bought a bottle that simply said vitamin B1. You took it diligently every single morning, hoping for a miracle. And a month later, you were still lying awake with your feet burning. You felt cheated. You felt like you wasted your money. You might have even convinced yourself that your body is just too broken to heal, or that vitamins simply do not work for you. Listen to me very carefully. The reason that pharmacy vitamin failed you is not because your body is broken beyond repair. It is because you bought the exact wrong tool for the job. You were sold a cheap, generic compound that is biologically incapable of fixing your nerves. If you go to your medicine cabinet right now and look at the back of that cheap bottle of vitamin B1, you will likely see the words thiamine hydrochloride or thiamine mononitrate. These are standard generic forms of the vitamin, and they share one massive fatal flaw when it comes to nerve repair. They are purely water-soluble. They dissolve in water. Now, I want you to think about the physical anatomy of your nervous system. Your brain, your spinal cord, and especially that protective myelin sheath insulation wrapped around your nerves are entirely constructed out of dense fats and lipids. We all know the most basic rule of chemistry, something we learned when we were children. Oil and water do not mix. They violently repel each other. When you swallow that cheap, water-soluble B1 pill, it enters your stomach and travels into your watery bloodstream. But the moment it tries to enter the nerve cell to actually do the hard work of repairing the frayed wire, it hits a solid wall of fat. And because it is made of water, it bounces right off. It cannot penetrate the tissue. A tiny microscopic fraction might accidentally squeeze through, but the vast majority of that vitamin simply circulates aimlessly in your blood until your kidneys filter it out, and you literally flush it down the toilet a few hours later. Taking regular vitamin B1 for severe nerve damage is exactly like trying to wash thick, heavy grease off your hands using plain, freezing cold water. The water just beads up and slides right off. It accomplishes absolutely nothing. If you want to actually penetrate that fatty nerve tissue, if you want to stop the sparking and rebuild the insulation, you must use a specialized form of vitamin B1 that speaks the exact same biological language as your nerves. You need a form of B1 that dissolves in fat. You need benfotiamine. I told you to remember that name, and this is exactly why. Because benfotiamine is fat-soluble, it completely ignores the lipid barriers that block regular cheap vitamins. It does not bounce off the nerve. It soaks directly through the fatty wall of the myelin sheath, the exact same way a thick, rich oil soaks into dry, cracked leather. It penetrates deep into the core of the starving nerve fiber, clears out the toxic cellular waste that is choking the wire, and immediately provides the raw concrete necessary to start patching the insulation. This is not a theory. This is the hard, biochemical reality of how your body repairs itself when you finally stop fighting its natural mechanics. But simply knowing the name benfotiamine is only the first step. If you buy a bottle tomorrow, but you take it the wrong way, you will still fail. The daily behavioral execution is what separates the people who actually get their lives back from the people who stay trapped in a chair. Here is the strict, blunt, non-negotiable clinical protocol I follow in my practice. I want you to treat these instructions with the exact same weight and discipline as a life-saving prescription drug. First is the dosage. A tiny generic maintenance amount will not fix years of active, compounding nerve damage. We are trying to stimulate a biological repair in a system that has been starving for a decade. The clinical protocols I follow involve starting with 150 milligrams of benfotiamine every single day. If your symptoms are severe, if you are actively losing your balance, or if the burning is so intense that it keeps you awake at night, research suggests increasing that to 300 milligrams a day. You can start at 150 for the first 3 days to let your digestive system adapt, but you must reach the therapeutic level to see real structural changes. Second, you must take it with the exact right food. This is the single biggest mistake people make, and it completely ruins their progress. Because benfotiamine is fat-soluble, it absolutely requires the physical presence of dietary fat in your stomach to be broken down, transported, and absorbed into your bloodstream. If you wake up tomorrow, swallow your benfotiamine with a glass of tap water and eat a dry piece of toast or a plain bowl of oatmeal. Your body will reject it. It will fail to absorb. You must take it with a meal, and that meal must contain heavy, healthy fats. You need to cook a couple of eggs in real butter. You need to pour a splash of real, full-fat, heavy cream into your morning coffee. Eat a spoonful of peanut butter or have half of an avocado. That dietary fat acts as a biological taxicab. It grabs onto the benfotiamine molecule in your stomach and actively drives it deep into your nervous system where it belongs. Third, you must take it in the morning. B vitamins are the energy currency of your cells. They are the spark plugs that wake up your cellular engines. If you take this supplement with your dinner at 6 or 7 o'clock at night, your nervous system will be flooded with energy, and you will be staring at your bedroom ceiling, completely wide awake at midnight, morning time with fatty food, every single day. That is the unbreakable rule. If you follow this protocol, if you finally give your body the raw materials it's been begging for, here's what's going to happen. I want you to know the timeline of healing so you don't panic, so you don't get discouraged, and so you don't quit right before the results begin. Week 1, your feet may still burn. Nerve tissue is slow to heal, especially after years of stomach issues and daily medications. But here's the thing, you'll notice a shift. That heavy, exhausting brain fog that drags you down every afternoon, it will start to lift. You'll feel sharper, clearer, present again. That's benfotiamine turning your cellular energy back on. Weeks 2 to 3, this is the wake-up call. Your damaged nerves are starting to reconnect, and when they do, they get noisy. You might feel tingling, burning, itching, like when your foot falls asleep and blood rushes back in. Do not panic. This is proof your nerves are coming alive again. If it's too intense, drop the dose to 150 milliliters for a few days, then build back up. Month 1 to 3, the burning pain quiets. It fades from a roar to a dull hum, and then silence. Your independence starts coming back. You walk across the room without hesitation, you get dressed without fumbling, you pick up objects without dropping them. You step into your car and actually feel the brake pedal under your foot. That's real life returning. 2 critical warnings. 1. If you have cancer or you're under an oncologist's care, talk to your doctor before using high-dose B vitamins. 2. Benfotiamine only works properly with the right B complex. Check your labels. Avoid cheap B6, pyridoxine hydrochloride. Avoid cheap B12, cyanocobalamin. Look for P5P and methylcobalamin. These are the forms that truly support your nerves. Now here's your choice. You can ignore this. Let the burning intensify. Let the numbness spread. Watch your world slowly shrink. Or you can take control. Get the right benfotiamine. Pair it with a proper B complex. Eat healthy fats in the morning. Commit to this every single day. This is your blueprint to reclaim your freedom. Start tomorrow. In 30-60 days, you could walk pain-free and sleep without burning toes. When that happens, come back and share your story. Someone else needs hope. If this resonated, like and subscribe. In the next video, I'll show you how to open the tiny blood vessels that deliver oxygen to damaged nerves. I'm Dr. Michael Kent. Your pain is real. Your nerves can heal. Take back your independence. Begin tomorrow morning.